especially this I would say this last decade, I've heard more stories
Mhm,
of people older than me, people my age, just people generally not
mhm,
staying together. And
mhm,
a friend of mine, his mother came into the relationship with two children, and they had been together for something like 25 years or longer. And now
mhm,
she's at a point where she feels like she's not happy. So she wants to leave him.
mm.
And bro, when I tell you that story bothers me on so many levels.
Wait, how long have they so they've been married for 25 years?
They've been married for 25 years.
And she wants to leave.
He's raised her children for 25 years.
Mhm,
And she wants to leave him because she's not happy. I It hurts. It
mm.
hurts, dude. I don't know how.
What is that what does that mean to you though? Like how do you assess the situation? That's what she said, but what is your perception of that whole situation?
My perception is I took on the role of possibly the third most important person in your life.
Mm,
Maybe number 3, max is all I'll ever be.
mhm,
And I took that on and I said, I'm okay with that. I'm going to support you. I'm going to support these children. I'm going to treat them as my own. I'm not going to treat you any differently. I'm going to make you my wife, and I'm going to live this life with you as best as I can. And you go, great. Thank you so much for bringing us into this situation together. And it's just like, does it, I don't know if it hurts because it's like, does that even count for anything? When we're talking about happiness, I don't know how to I don't know how to not sound chauvinistic right now, but
Bro, just go ahead. This is your platform.
you're right
Like,
about that. You're right
speak
about that.
freely, bro.
You're right about that. Does the fact that I ideally would have loved to have had a relationship with you, but because you came with a combo meal, I figured I had to get the combo. So I'm okay with that, but please like let that count for something. Somebody asked me
Mm,
the other day, I asked someone if they knew what men wanted, and we had this whole conversation about I've had this conversation with at least 3 people in the last week since our last episode. One thing that keeps on coming up is whether they maybe they do know, but they don't know it intellectually. But I ask certain women, I'm like, I had somebody in my dance class before. She's going through a heartbreak, and she's well into her 60s, and she really feels devastated. She's like, "Yo, I spent this whole year, and I was pouring into him, and I was da 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 and da da da, and I'm just so hurt, and he's this and he's that." And I'm like, okay, what attracted you to him, and what do you think attracted him to you, and what why do you think he changed, and what do you think he was looking for in the relationship? Now, whether his trauma with his mother or his trauma with his ex-wife that had impact, okay, but when it came to what you were doing in the relationship, like what role did you play for him, or what were you giving him that made him say, wow, I really want to behave, I want to make it possible for you to stick around because I like how what you're bringing to my life. And I was just asking her, just literally, not trying to like dig or poke, but I'm just like, "Hey, yeah, what were you doing for him?" And she was like, "I I don't know. We are having sex." I was like, "Okay, but," it's like, "But having sex is cool if you want them to like you, but how do you want him to keep you?" And then I was asking somebody
mm,
else, and they even had to remind me how important appreciation is.
mm,
And
mm,
because I said respect, I said desire, and whatever the last one was, I definitely threw it away as soon as she reminded me that appreciation is something that she heard men want. And I was like, 100%. I'm so glad that you said that. And
mhm.
just like,
A man will run through a brick wall for you if you
boy,
appreciate him.
boy, boy.
That's it.
But I
I
think
mean,
the appreciation doesn't ever stop, right? It doesn't ever just say,
it
okay,
shouldn't.
I appreciate
It
you
shouldn't.
for all these years. Like, why do I still need to show you that I appreciate you? Don't you just know that you're appreciated? And I guess you could
Mm,
say, don't you just know that I love you? Like, why do I even have to tell you or show you or
yeah,
demonstrate?
yeah. But yeah, no, but that's a great point because the same way I think that women take appreciation for granted as far as what a man wants in a relationship, I think men, like what you just said, conversely, take love for granted. And it's like, of course I love you. Like I'm here.
Oh,
I do this, I do that. But, you know, it needs to be more significant. It needs to be highlighted, right? Continuously. Um,
continuously.
right. And so the same way with appreciation. So they kind of go hand in hand. It's just the language of the man and the language of the woman in the context of a committed relationship, you know?
And I think that with committed relationships, it behooves both parties to learn about each other. It's not just
Absolutely.
how a man learns that he can get a woman's attention if he's charming, if he's non-threatening, if he comes to them with a certain tone of voice, if he's approaching her at a bar or in a club, he has to think about, okay, well, if I approach her this way, she might feel nervous because, she has to watch her back. So let me come from the side, but let me keep enough space so that she doesn't think I'm all in her business, or give her enough space to approach me if she wants to. These are all things that you learn if you want the attention of a woman. And I
Mm,
don't think those particular skills are learned when it comes to men. And I think something is changing in this generation. Something is changing these
mm,
last 10, 15, 20 years or whatever, in that I don't think it's the money. I don't think it's the fact that women have titles and women have money now that it's changing the dating dynamics. I think something is happening where men are thinking, I don't want what my parents had. I was looking at a family portrait the other day, and it's 2 daughters, the wife, and the father. And and the mother and the father, and everybody is smiling except the father. The father looked like he hadn't smiled since the birth of his last daughter, and his last daughter might be
yeah.
30. You know what
I
I'm saying?
remember you sending that
Oh my
in
gosh,
the group chat.
that picture is burned into my head because it is. I think about that picture constantly because 'cause I'm like, "Yo,
Yeah.
what are we doing for his edification? What are we doing not just because, oh, it's your birthday here, or oh, it's Christmas here, or oh, you did this, you did that, but like on the day to day,
Hold on though. Hold on
talk to me,
though.
talk to me.
He's there. He could have left.
Yeah.
We opt in. People opt in, bro. He opted into that. He continued to opt in every day, every year, every decade. And that's the fruit of his labor. That's the fruit of him opting in. That's what he wanted. Even if he look all screw face, he wanted it. He's enjoying it. He may not know how to express it, but he's enjoying it. Cause trust me, if that man wanted to leave, if he was fed up, he would go get a cabin in the woods and he would live there by himself. He looks like he was old enough to be financially stable enough to do whatever he want at this point in his life. Look like he got his pension and he chilling.
Do you really think that, or do you think that he's a prisoner of his own quote unquote morality? His friends, his community, if he were to say, yo, I've been unhappy for a long time, I don't want to pursue this relationship anymore. Do you think he could live in the community that he lives in currently with that
That's
with
I mean
with that in mind?
that's a great question. That's a great question. It's tough. I think it's twofold. I don't think it's, just either or. I
Mm,
think it's both and. You
mm,
know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
think it's a little bit of both and all of that. There's a part of he's had some fed up years, but he's rationalized and said, you know what? I'm too old to restart anyway. What would I do if I did? Da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Like every married man has those questions that goes through his mind. And typically you stick with what you've already been doing.
Mm.
Not to say that you haven't entertained the idea of, well, I should just start over because I'm sick and tired of this, or this is boring, or all of that, all of those thoughts. It's just like I could start over, but why start over at 50? Why start over at 55? I don't want to die alone. There's all those thoughts that go through a man's mind, and men love stability, and
Say that
men
one more
love
time. Uh-oh.
predictability.
Uh-oh. Hot
Men
take?
men love men love stability and predictability. By and large, I would say 80-20. Obviously, nothing is 100%. But by and large, men love stability and predictability. You know what I'm saying? Women are more on the I need something new. I need something fresh. I need something that be spontaneous. Surprise me. It's like,
But she
bitch,
also
come home
wants
and
you
go
to
to sleep.
be
Go to bed. Wake up. I'm going to work. You got all the time to do all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
she
Respectfully.
also
So it's
wants
just
you to
like,
be predictable as well, because as soon as you know what I mean? Like, if you start turning your phone because you're texting and you just
no,
try to
no, no,
you know what
no,
I mean?
no.
Like, you want a little bit more.
She only wants you to be predictable when it comes to her security. She wants you to be spontaneous and everything else, and she won't tell you that she wants you to be spontaneous. She might actually, but by and large, she wants you to be spontaneous, and she may not even know it for real. But that's why women are leaving. I would say 50% of the contingent of women that are leaving their men at this present era, what you're saying, like in the past 10, 15 years, they want that spontaneity. They want that spontaneity and those thrills that they
For real.
see on Love and Hip Hop, on Black Ink, on what I'm saying, Real Housewives of it. Like they want that. Oh, they want what's the HBO show Issa Rae.
Oh, Insecure.
They want the insecure, like they want girls trip. They want all of that because they're living vicariously
Through
through
all these
these shows that
characters.
they watch,
Right, right.
right? And so now it's like, why can't I do that? And
Mm,
then they see some of their friends start living those lives, even though everybody that's single want to be married, and everybody that's married want to be single. So nobody's content with their life, but everybody's is chasing and seeking these thrills. You know what I'm saying? And so bringing it back home, the married woman, she wants some spontaneity when it doesn't. She wants her security to be secure, but she wants spontaneity and everything else,
that is
right?
so interesting that I really want you to kind of expand on that security part. Like, once she
Hmm.
feels like you are stable enough, you're providing a life that's stable enough for her. Now she wants you to switch gears and be this other person, or she wants you to
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean,
there's
maybe not
no
even say
tube
other
in
person,
between.
but she wants you to do other. She wants you to do other things. She's not going to tell you, and she may not even fully she may not even be able to intellectualize, and not say that she can't, but like she doesn't really know what's going on. But I'm just saying this from observation. I'm seeing this in like friends and colleagues and like women that I'm like, oh, she left, and it's like they're not even leaving for different types of dudes. To be honest, like they're getting a similar type of dude. It's just the new flavor of
Mhm.
that guy.
That thr
So relationships are an exchange of security. Now, people that's listening, this is not a static thought. This is not a permanent thought of mine. This is a working thought. If you ask me in January of 2026, I probably won't feel the same way about this. All right. So this is context, not static content. But relationships are an exchange of security. Women are inherent in this society that we live in, not as a quality of good or bad or more than or lesser than, but women in this society are inherently insecure. What do I mean by that? They live in this power evolving society of patriarchy and violent men, which makes a woman insecure in this society, right? And the laws and the customs and religions and everything that is organized and everything that is of power, the economic system, all this stuff is typically male driven, male dominated. And so for for the longest of time, women have not been able to own land or be owners of companies and do all the things. And so women are inherently insecure in this society. And so women will get married to a man in Western society as a means of security.
mm,
Once you are married to that man, now you can be the benefactor of his wages, his earnings, whatever wealth was passed down to him. And in those relationships where there's the man of means and the woman that plugs into that security, once that security is taken care of, then the means start to flow and security raises to the point where you start having kids, even if you don't have kids, but like as soon as you get plugged in, you basically on an equal level now.
Mm.
because you're entitled
Right.
to half
To his earnings.
or maybe more
Mm.
if the contract goes awry. So now that security, it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now that I have security, and yeah, love is involved, but the security is key. That's why women want to get married. Men don't necessarily seek marriage, but if they do seek marriage, it's because they have a goal in mind. Not 100% of the time, maybe 75, 80% of the time, because a man wants to build. Men like to build families. Men actually do want to, like, we don't necessarily want to raise the kids, but we want to see our kids, right? And we want to and we want to be proud of, little Joey playing football or playing basketball, and little Susie being the soccer star. Like, we really enjoy that,
Mm.
like thoroughly enjoy that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we want to live through our kids' achievements and all that type of stuff, and we want to pass down the legacy and all that, right? And so that's what we get married for, is like the legacy. We want our name to continue, and there's that kind of vanity or lack thereof, just to see your name and your bloodline continue, right? And so we do that through the vehicle of marriage.
Mm.
But we don't come into it with a lack of security. So the woman comes in with a lack of security, and then they get that security, and then once they get that security, now there's all these other things that they're seeking. And so now the prize that the man was before the marriage, now he's not the prize anymore, because, like, I got what you got. So now what do I need you for? 25 years later, you were the prior, you security, you helped me raise my kids. Now I got financial, whatever. What do I now? It's
Mm.
boring, because there's nothing to aspire to, because I've achieved it. I've leveled up. And so now it's just like, I don't need you. So that's how I'm seeing marriages and or long-term relationships. Even if it's not a marriage, it could be like baby mama type situation, especially if it's a woman that has a baby with a ball player or something, so on and so forth. Like, there's that security. Once I get the security, I don't really need you. I just needed the security,
Mm.
and now I can go do all the things, and this man can still serve the purpose without the attachment, if that makes sense. Like, you
So
still got to pay me, but
right,
I don't have to be beholden to you
right,
anymore.
right.
So there's that part.
So it's interesting. Okay, two things. One, I want to ask you: is the security of the marriage not significant if she's still she's still in danger, for lack of a better term? She's still in danger of the patriarchy. She's still in danger of violence from men, with or without money. So where does the
Right.
marriage fit into that? And number two, if it's an exchange of security between the husband and the wife, could you, and I know this is a dynamic, this is a working thought in progress. What have you thought about when it comes to the man's needs for security? Is it his children? Is it he's marrying her because he wants to know that the children that
Security
she
for
has
children.
are actually his
Hmm.
children? So he's not raising someone
Yeah,
else's children? Okay.
absolutely. Security for children, the consistency, and also, like, making sure your children are taken care of.
Mhm.
Like, boom, these are my children, and they'll be taken care of because their mother is raising them.
And so once she has those children, especially once those children reach a certain age, whether it's 10, 20, or whatever, does he still need the marriage?
The man.
In the same way that once she's leveled up, she doesn't necessarily need
Hmm.
him. She has
Hmm.
access to, which is money.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
is he in the same situation? Once his children are grown, does he quote unquote need his wife in the same way? Is that his level up? And then even if he has to give half, or they split it, or maybe they had a business and she doesn't have to take anything
Yeah.
from him, but they created something
Oh,
and they move on. Where is
for
his?
sure. So for a man, having a wife is a power move, and it's a status symbol,
Mm,
especially if you're, like, kind of ambitious and doing business, and it's like you don't want to show up
the playboy.
to the s- the soiree, or you don't want to show up to the foundation dinner alone.
Oh, it's not even
You don't.
alone.
You
It's
don't.
even worse. Like if you just came, you could come with a date. But I've started noticing that there are conversations in those different kinds of in
Hmm.
those areas
Hmm.
where the woman that you may come with may be, kind of attacked by the other women in those
By the
situations,
other woman.
right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So you want to find like your female or opposite sex equal, so that when you go to those events, like, because you're not only like when you fit in with the guys, your wife or your significant other has to fit in with the other women,
It's not one or the other.
because it's not because even if you're cool, but the women don't like your lady, they're controlling
Mm.
the men. To be honest, because you happy wife, happy life, whether we like it or not, that's a real thing. And so, like, if the woman is not feeling old girl, then the dudes is not necessarily rocking with you as tough as if the women were cool. If that makes sense.
It does make sense. But what doesn't
Yeah.
make sense is if we're going back, it seems like she has more power staying in the relationship because, like you just explained to me, she rules the roost. There are many
Hmm.
men who capitulate to that happy wife, happy life idea. And not only does she have access to his earnings, but now she has a way of manipulating a man to do the things that she wants to do that maybe she may not be able to show up on her own and accomplish. Does that make sense? She can't go into
Yeah. I
some of these
mean.
boardrooms, she can't go into some of these country clubs or whatever and move and
Hmm.
shake, but she can
Hmm.
if she's married to a man. So does she lose by getting a divorce? If we're talking about power and we're talking about the value, it seems like she would stand to stay in a relationship, have all the power in the relationship, have access to the
Yeah.
resources, and move like that. No?
So I'll put it like this. And with me recently being divorced, I see it as everybody loses in a divorce.
Mm,
I think people think that they have the upper hand potentially, even whether it's the man or the woman. You think I'm better off by myself, da 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 da. But at the end of the day, you make that pact and you make that oath, and then you break it for whatever reason. Everybody loses in a divorce because when you're divorced, you're divorced. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is a break. That is a separation. That Velcro got a little lint on it. You know what I'm saying? And so, regardless, and you can't, and it's the lint where you can't really get it. You know what I'm
can't
saying?
really
It's there.
can't dig it out. You can't just grab it with your
You
fingers, huh?
can't really dig it out. You know what I'm saying? So that's on your jacket, for lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? Like, that divorce is on your jacket, so you can't shake that. And it's a thing. Not to say that it's a death sentence or it's whatever. Once again, I'm just a few months in, so I'm probably a little more jaded than most. And once again, you ask me a year from now, I'll probably feel totally different about it. But it's it's on your jacket and it hurts.
Mm.
And there is, regardless of what you think you're going to get on the other side of it, and even though it very may well be for the best, you still lose, right? You still hurt, you still go through, and it's tough. So I'll preface it with that to more directly answer your question. In certain situations, yes, a woman can have the upper hand, absolutely, especially if there's children involved, and alimony and child support and all that. So that could be a big boost to her security, where it's like, I'm not only, granted, you're still taking care of kids, but you have the financial stability, and you
Stability.
don't have, you know what I'm saying? You don't have that, I don't know how I'm going to take care of them. I know exactly how I'm going to take care of them because I got X amount coming in per month. And so, but money is never just a bandage for the physical support and the emotional support. You know what I'm saying? Because that is a thing that I think, kind of what you were saying, like, they still don't physically have the protection. They can find it somewhere else potentially. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
in the moment, you don't have it.
Right.
So there is that lack of security for sure. So that's more of a question for a woman. I really couldn't answer that. Like, what do they still, lack the physical security? How do they feel about that? I don't want to speak for a woman on that. I could assume that they still yearn for that, or that they lack it, or whatever the case might be, but that may not be an issue for them, because
Oh
they
no.
may
In the
they may
same way
have never physically insecure, maybe, who knows.
In the same way that we were talking about earlier, that insecurity isn't an emotional insecurity. That insecurity is literally from the perspective of the society, right? So this woman
Hmm,
is
hmm.
insecure as a being in the society because this society does not facilitate the protection of her in in these instances. And I was thinking the same
Yeah.
thing in that situation. Like once she's divorced, I'm not thinking about like her perspective. I'm just thinking about how she, on a strategic level, wouldn't it make more sense to stick through it because you have access to more opportunities, quote unquote. But I
Well,
do.
you don't stick through a divorce just for those reasons, though. I mean, you don't stick through a marriage for that. And if you do, it's not gonna bode well long term. When you know that it's like this is really it's not working out, but like, hey, it's convenient. When you stick through it for convenience, that's short term thinking, and that's you can't think short term about a lifelong process. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta if the big picture ain't big and the picture is dim, then you do have to it would behoove you to cut your losses. You know what I'm saying? Go through it, go through all the tough stuff, and then come out on the other side and start new. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think divorce is necessary, and the more I learn about marriage as I get older, as I get interested in having a forever partner, I'm noticing that all the people that I am attracted to want to have marriage. And
Hmm.
I've spoken about this before, how marriage, in my opinion, marriage as it is today has nothing to do with the union of two people. And if it
Absolutely.
did, it wouldn't have the government in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
this union is not me and my person. This union is me and the government, and then that person of the government, and through the government, I become a union with that person, and that
I
just
like to call it. Oh my bad. I mean to
go
go.
ahead, no,
Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead, go ahead.
I was like, I like to call it marriage is the business of family.
Damn, that's gonna be the title right there, yo.
That's
Marriage,
what it is, bro.
marriage is the
Marriage
business
is the business of
of
family,
family.
and I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. I just think that it should be approached more business
Mhm.
like like a like an NBA contract. Like let's all right, 5 years,
I don't knock that.
7 years.
Renegotiations kinda thing, right?
Hey, I feel really good about 10 years, right? Let's sign a 10-year contract,
But
and
that's
then
never
let's
your first
renegotiate.
contract. Your first contract is never a 10-year contract. Your first
Yeah,
contract is like
your first
your
should be
rookie
like
contract.
5 to 7. You know what I'm saying? 5 to 7 year contract,
Right.
and then if any breach of contract or any whatever, this is stipulations. This is the quote unquote prenup, and then 7 to 10 years. Then it's like, all
Get
right,
that franchise tag, yo. Put you on for the
there
long
you go.
term.
There you go. There you go, friend. All of that, man. It should be
Yeah.
negotiations because things change. Like people's needs change, and who I was or what I needed when I was 25 versus when I'm 30 or when I'm 35 or I'm 45 is different.
Mhm.
And so, look, moving forward, and I really think it's healthy. I don't think like it should be this like, oh, that's messed up. No, like people need because people just when I'm talking about renegotiation, it's really we need to sit down and really have an in-depth conversation about our needs and our wants and our desires and what is going to help this marriage grow not this marriage, this relationship, because that's all it marriage is really in essence is just a relationship, but when in this government in this western context, modern day context, it's the business of family.
Mm.
So in this business, this is how how the money is split up, this is how whatever how the investment, all of that. But also you need to renegotiate on the economics. This is how things are going to be spent and money is going to be divided. But then on just on the relationship level, this is what I need from you. Look, you lacking in empathy. Yo, you a little too argumentative. Yo, you da 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 da. Like all of these things need to be verbalized, and it can't just be assumptions that well, because you're my wife, you're supposed to, or because you're my husband, you're supposed to. Well, when we first got married, you used to do this,
Mm.
and now you don't even respect. Now you don't even, and it's like okay, yeah, because I was young. But now I'm older, it's different, or I'm wiser, or whatever. I've evolved.
I can imagine how difficult it is growing with somebody and seeing them change in a way that you're not changing. I
Mm,
remember having my college girlfriend was one of my favorite relationships because I truly felt like I was genuinely me. I was really
hmm
authentic because I, I was lost in trying to figure out who I needed to be, but I was being me in that interim kind of thing. And I remember we had gotten my dog together, and we were talking about the rest of our lives. We were talking about all these different things, and this was before I had my first psychedelic experience. So I had my job, had the dog, had the girlfriend. I was like, okay, well, I'm skating into the rest of my life, kind of thing. And had we gotten married before I had taken my first trip, wow,
mm,
wow, that would have been really, really difficult to be able to maintain a relationship like that because it affected me in a way that didn't affect her. I think she had
yeah.
already had hers, and she had become the person that she was at that time through her
Mm,
experiences, but I didn't yet. So I was still becoming. She was
hmm
on like way further in her process. And I think about that as
hmm
well. Like, wow, if I had gotten married before I had that experience, I don't think that would have been sustainable, or we would have had just a lot of tumultuous times because I wouldn't have come back as soon as I she may have wanted me to. I wouldn't have taken her as far away from her family as maybe I would have wanted to travel, or I was just uncomfortable with that. But when did we stop? Oh man, is safety the opposite of desire? The reason why I ask you this is cuz having a dog and helping other people learn how to have a better relationship with their dogs. I've always asked people, would you prefer your dog on a leash that is constantly tugging and pulling and trying to smell this and trying to run after that and trying to go over there? Or would you prefer a dog that stays by you, sees all those different options, can go smell that dog over there, can go pee on that, can go chase that car, can go chase that squirrel? Because they're
mm,
off leash, they have all the freedom to do it, but they choose not to and they stay by your side. What would you
mm,
rather? And when I think of relationship like that, I want you to have the freedom to leave because it means so much more to me when you stay. Mhm. The leash is, to me, marriage. And
mm,
what do you want when it comes to your partner? Do you want choice or do you want security? Do you want freedom or do you want security at the end of the day? And we want security until we don't. It seems like we want security until we want freedom again. And that doesn't work. Let's just keep with freedom and just be uncomfortable having freedom and having the uncertainty, because losing the uncertainty definitely kills the desire in relationship. I think I've read Esther Perel's Mating in Captivity, and
mm,
desire is one of the most essential parts of a relationship. You have to
mm,
constantly cultivate desire, and when your partner sees you, maybe you're not flirting, maybe you're not, but when they see you out and they see the potential that other people can have something of yours, quote unquote, I don't know, it makes you want to treat them, guy or girl, right? I know I've been in that situation.
hey,
It's definitely not just when
hey,
she sees you around and stuff like that. It's been me.
that's
Good, good.
I was gonna say that's probably why the wife of 25 years. That's another reason why she might have been like, you know what, I'm done. I don't desire you no more. Granted, yeah, it could have been you helped me raise the kids and all that, but it's like, what did because I know what I let myself do when I was married. I definitely let myself go. You know what I'm saying? I had dad bod times 10. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm,
what I look like, even them videos that I sent you, I was like, damn, bro, I was looking boy, that was back when I was, 240 plus, maybe 245. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? And
that's
I'm
real.
I'm down in the 220s now, but it's like,
Hey, congrats, bro.
yeah, bro, thank you. But it's like
But why
when
now
in
kind
the
of thing?
in the well, I had realized like even before whatever I had recognized it about myself for a while. I was like, man, bro, like I feel like I just didn't have control. Like I wanted to eat better, I wanted to work out, but I just didn't have the discipline.
Mm,
And so I had told you and Tab about it last year when I went on my plant-based journey, you know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? And it
mhm.
was only a month, but it was life-changing.
Transformative.
And I never believed in myself or anything that I tried. I just didn't give enough effort to set myself up for success. You know what I'm saying? And so I did that, back in March, and it worked out, and it was great. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'll say in the context of a marriage and that security, and it's like, well, I'm not competing. I'm not whatever. Like, it is what it is. You just kind of let yourself go, whether it's a man or a woman. And once again, not to generalize for everybody, because some people obviously stay fit, but like for me, I know I was just like, I don't care. I don't have nothing to prove. Like, I was an athlete in college. Like I
I
did
got my wife,
basketball,
I'm good.
football, track. Like, yeah, I got my wife.
Yeah.
I've lived an athletic life.
Mm.
I got accolades. All up until college. Like, I feel relatively good about myself, and people know I was that dude. So I don't have nothing to prove. It is what it is. I'm about to eat. I'm not about to work out. I don't gotta do nothing. Can't nobody tell me to go run or go lift weights. I can do whatever I want, which is absolutely nothing. Play Madden and eat chicken and ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, bro. So I let myself go, and but I know by and large, like if I was single or if I was out here trying to compete, I wouldn't have done that.
That
You
won't
know what I'm
fly.
saying?
You'll get
Yeah,
you'll get feedback from society if you were single. You'd get feedback
immediately.
immediately saying, "No, I'm not interested in that." And
Mm.
even if you were in a relationship, sometimes I think that. Because if you were in a committed relationship that wasn't marriage, no, I guess it'd be the same.
No,
It'd be the
I
same
mean,
everywhere.
I'll put it like, hey, it when you marry, like all that stuff really don't matter. At least for me, like in my relationship, even when we were married, of course we were in our 20s, right? And so my ex-wife, her size back then versus her size now, like 3 kids later, obviously a big difference. But
3 kids and in your 30s, right? It's not just
yeah,
the kids, it's the
yeah,
kids and you're just getting older. Like, that's yeah,
yeah,
everything's
and
slowing
it's not like she ever got, like, respectfully, like she never got sloppy or nothing like that. Like, 'cause she was mostly petite and small, whatever. So I enjoyed every stage, every phase. You know what I'm saying? And she was, oh, I'm putting on weight. I'm like, I like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not mad, you know what I'm saying?
down.
So,
Right, right.
and even if you were slim, I liked you then. So it really didn't matter to me unless it just got like to the point where it was just super uncomfortable picking you up. Like, that's a different thing. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, like, it's
And
fine.
could you say it would be uncomfortable? And of course, you wouldn't be able to really say what you would say in that moment, but had you been working out during your marriage and had you been looking after your health and she felt like that or you started seeing that, do you think that the way that you responded had anything to do with how you were seeing yourself or what you were, you know what I mean, like how you were visualizing yourself? Like, girl, you're good. I'm
Potentially,
getting big too,
potentially,
kind of, you know what I mean?
potentially,
Okay.
because
We have no way of
my
knowing this.
weight, yeah, yeah, I was fluctuating between like 235 and 255, for like a decade. You know what I'm saying? Just go up and down. So even when I looked different or looked better, I didn't ever judge her or whatever. So, and I just never seen it as a problem, to be honest. Even when she's like,
Right.
oh, I'm fat, I like it. I like it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I guess switching gears real quick, have you have you been able to communicate with friends, male or female,
mm,
friends that
mhm.
are kind of in the same stage that I'm in, where they are looking for a forever partner, they are looking
Mhm.
for yeah, like that life partnership, whether it's marriage, whether it's just you know what I mean, like what's the other one? Not marriage, but like domestic something. What is that called? Yeah, they don't get married, but sometimes they receive some of the benefits because they've been together for so long. I think it's called domestic
Oh,
marriage or something like that.
no, I know what you're saying. It's not in law, but like it's
Common law.
something law. Common law.
Common law marriage,
Common
that's it,
law. You talking
that's
about
it. Yeah,
common
yeah, yeah.
law. Yeah,
Common
yeah,
law marriage,
yeah.
yes.
Yep.
Have you been able to see your friends that do you have anybody in your life that is going to get married? We are, I mean, damn near in our 40s now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
And how have you been able to see their perspective at their big age versus your perspective when you got married? Or kind of do you see how they're seeing marriage? Are they looking at it a little bit more pragmatically, or is it something that's like based in love and based in just, you know what I mean, like all of the kind of like Western tropes that we've learned about love or about marriage?
I'll put it like this, man. If somebody doesn't, a lot, the folks that I know that are like about to get married, that are there's a few of them that are older than me or recently married, right? So they had been dating and got engaged, all that stuff. They got married for their own reasons, and their reasons made sense for them. And that's really all that matters. Like whatever I went through and whatever reasoning or rationale that I had for getting married has nothing to do with the 41-year-old or 42 or 45 or 48-year-old that decides to get married at that age. You know what I'm saying? Because they're getting married for whatever reason they want to get married. Some of them for the first time, some of them for the second time, or some of them, they got kids. I think all of them that I know, they already have at least one, if not two or three kids. So it's just like people get married for the reasons that they want to get married for. And I mostly I don't try to tell them like this is the rationale of why you should or you shouldn't. Now I
No,
did recently just have
no, you're too smart for that.
no, but it's like but I don't even dig into like, well, why are you doing it? Because it's like, yo, congratulations. That's all I can say because that's what they want. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's what you want, then you're getting what you want, and you're old enough to make an informed decision. It's not like you're 19 or 21. Like you're 40 plus. You know exactly what you're doing. So and the ramifications. We all have been around the block. We all have friends that are married, that have been divorced, got remarried, whatever. We all know why we're doing what we're doing at this point. It's not an uninformed decision from my point of view. So if they say they get married, I'm like, congratulations. You know what I'm saying? But I did just have a recent conversation with, I guess I could say friends, more colleagues, but like I see them a lot, so might as well be friends. But the guy is like 27, the woman is 31, 32, and they're engaged. And so, you know, and they're talking about marriage, and I did give them more like directed advice as far as
Mm,
the whole renegotiation thing, the 5 year, 7 year. I told him like, look, don't get married with the intentions of getting a divorce. If you already have a looking to go out, then it's not like, but do set up 5 to 7 year, not necessarily renegotiation, but like let's come to the table and like let's revise and let's take a deep look at where we are, what we need in all these different areas, and make sure that we're aligned. Because it's very easy for one person to still be looking at you in the context of when we signed up for this, this is what you said you wanted, and this is how you wanted it to go. And then the other person is like, well, that was 5 years ago. I'm different and things are different. And now we have one kid, or now we have two children, and now we have a house and we're da 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 da. Like now, so everybody, you have to have those. I don't even want to say renegotiation. I don't know what the right word is, but like come back to the table. Let's talk about this. Let's take a look at everything, and let's make sure we're on the right foot. And let's not just let things drift apart because it's very
mm.
easy to do that. So I did have that conversation with them because they did ask me for advice.
That's fire. Going back to
Hmm.
your friends that are older, and of course, we know what we're getting ourselves into in our 40s, and some of
Hmm.
us don't. You know what I mean? Like, we're a little wiser than we are in our 20s, hopefully, if you did it right. But we still
Hmm.
have no idea how much work it's going to take to be able to do something like a marriage. You know what I'm saying? So I guess my question
Hmm.
was more: did you see similar thought processes? Did you see people kind of like enamored with each other and looking to do it because love is just what we need and we're so in love and this is going to be the foundation of our relationship? Or did you see it as, you know what, you got two kids, I got two kids, we're not getting any older. If you depend on me, I promise I'm going to depend on you, and let's, tie all of our let's tie all of our assets together. Do you see it just in different stages of our lives? Do you see differences in how they're approaching marriage, or is, I guess my question was, are they still kind of, you know, reacting to the butterflies that that person gives them, and the desire to, you know, really, you know, complete themselves with their other half and things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I haven't gotten like that in depth with any of them, to be honest.
Okay.
So I just know that they've had a boyfriend or girlfriend, significant other for quite some time, and then I get that text or I get that whatever, it's like, hey, you know what I'm saying, or I see that post on
Save the
IG,
date.
and it's just that's just kind of yeah, it is what it is. I'm like, oh man, congratulations. So
Mm,
I'm happy for him, but yeah, I don't know if it's infatuation or not.
right. Okay.
But hey,
Fair enough.
shit, niggas is 40 and 40 plus, like I don't, what else can I say? Like, what else can be said that hasn't already been said by Kevin Samuels or
Mm.
your Kevin Samuels knockoff on Instagram or Twitter? Like, it's you know,
The dupes, the cameos, the
Doctor
Kevin Samuels knockoffs.
What Doctor Cheyenne Bryant has preached, the world has
Mm.
listened, and
Mm.
so
I don't know who that
it
is
is
yet.
what it is. You don't know Cheyenne Bryant? She's the female Kev, kind of
Oh
like the
yeah.
black woman Kev.
Oh, okay.
Somewhat, but she does. I mean, I've just seen her because she was on a Nick Cannon show, like his little thing. I think Council Culture, and then she was talking to somebody else. I think
Cam.
she might have been on Breakfast. Cam,
She talked to Cam. Is this the
yeah,
person that went
Cam and
viral for
and
talking
Nick,
to Cam? Yeah, I think I saw that.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think I saw that when she sat with him. Okay. She's delightful looking.
yeah. I'll put it like this, man. Like I don't think. I think by and large people don't think that deep into marriage. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna have to agree with
As
you.
far as like when they get married, I don't think they think it's that deep. It's like you're my person. I really don't want to play the field. We got something. Let's get married. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been rocking with you strong for 2, 3 years. I don't want nobody else. Do you want to play the field? Because I don't want to play the field. Hey, let's build something. Let's get married. It's like, yeah, why not? Boom. We
Yeah,
married now.
you're right.
And
You're
that's
right.
it.
You're right.
I don't
There
I
really
really
is
don't I
no
really don't
argument
think
to
it's
that.
that deep.
There's no
Yeah.
argument to that. There's no like, oh, okay, we've been doing this well for so long. Let's just keep on doing this. Why do we have to change
Yeah.
this? What other
Yeah.
level are we gonna get? We're gonna save a little bit on our taxes? Like, is that worth it? To change the dynamic of our relationship and to make one of us or both of us too comfortable? I think I'm really struggling with that right now, but I'm not opposed to it. And I'm not opposed to it. I think it's something that's, again, you get to unlock a certain level of this human experience when you pledge
Mhm.
yourself to somebody else. And I think that that ceremony in front of people is so important. But that whole government part of it just bothers me, man. It really does just bother me.
Yeah.
That part bothers me. But I hope to be married. I hope to be happily married for as long as I possibly can, and I
Mhm.
hope it's gonna be because we have a thriving business, and we both wanted to make sure that each person knew that they are contributing all they can towards that business, and what better idea to do that than to get married? Because at the end of the day, we talk about, even in African cultures, pre-colonial African cultures, there's something called a dowry. There's something called a bride
Mhm.
price. These are things that are just like, yo, I'm paying you for your daughter's hand because we want to combine these properties. Or we see there's going to be such a positive effect on our community if we were to combine these two families. Or there's a strength in this, or whatever it is, has always been more than just love. And the older I get, the more I'm hearing, you can't a relationship doesn't last on just love. And while I agree with that, I think a marriage doesn't last on just like a good relationship. You know what I mean? Because I think that really changes the
Well,
dynamic,
yeah. Well, marriage is a relationship, just a contractual relationship. That's it.
the business of family. So okay.
Business family.
Oh, so if you're not having kids, don't get married.
Mm, potentially.
Mm,
I
that
mean,
makes
that's
some
that's
sense.
yeah.
That makes way more
Because
sense.
traditionally people got married when they were young, and then you get married and then you start a family.
Right.
But now, if you're older and you're just getting married, like you may just want to contractually, whatever, pledge. You may just want to pledge yourself to someone and be in a committed relationship. And there's no judgment on that, but it's just the way that I've seen it because I grew up in the church, and now even though I'm not in the church, I still see marriage as a contract, as a business, and it's like the business of family. And then once that business dissolves, then you gotta send. All right, the family still has to be taken care of.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's why the money is going out, because that business is still existing. Y'all just aren't conducting it together, but there is still a business of of that family.
Yeah, that family, yeah.
That economic engine
Right,
is still going. It
right.
still needs to be taken care of. So
Mm,
you're still responsible for that part of the business. So yeah,
business of family. That's a great title, bro. That's a great title. Alright,
and
at the one
I I do want to end with this. I don't want it to come across, if y'all are listening, damn near an hour later. I don't want it to come across as if men don't get much out of it, because I don't think I really laid into that point of what men get out of marriage. But there is a level of consistency. I think I said consistency and
Mhm,
security of,
mhm,
this is my lady. You know what I'm saying? This is who I come home to. A man typically wants a woman that can like take care of the house or whatever, or at least take care of him in whatever way, shape, or form, right? And emotionally, physically, all of that, and the house and all that, and the kids, like, take care of me. I'm gonna do all the things. Just appreciate me and take care of me, because I need that, and that's what a man needs, and that's what a man wants. That's what a man craves in the context of a marriage, typically, right? And so and that's what a man gets out of it, and that is huge. That is huge, especially when a man is trying to build and work and like focus on all these other things. He wants to have the everyday, day to day minutia that he doesn't necessarily have the time to do because he's trying to build. He wants that taken care of, and when
mm,
a woman provides that for him, he's he's appreciative of it. Even if he doesn't feel it, he does appreciate it, and that's why he's in that relationship. So that, bringing it back to that man that took them pictures and he wasn't smiling, he might not have been having fun, but he was in that relationship because his wife added some value to him that he couldn't do himself, and he knew that, even though he wasn't necessarily having the funnest of times. It's some shit that he didn't want to do. And he's like, you
yeah.
know what,
But he could go back
Margaret,
5 years
Margaret gonna
later and
hold it
see
down.
those pictures and be like, "Yo, I'm glad we took these."
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yep.
In situations just like that.
Yes, sir.
That's a good place to end this. I didn't want us to focus on marriage, but I'm so glad that you had so much to say about it. I don't think that
Didn't I
we
say I wasn't gonna talk about this? Is that what I said on the text?
No,
What
no, no, excuse me. I take that back. What I wanted to say was, I didn't want to talk about marriage or your status, and you've said it before on other podcasts, but because it's still so fresh, I didn't wanna,
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't want this conversation to surround that, but I'm so glad that you brought your
Absolutely.
experience in these I'm so glad that you brought enough of your experience without putting your business out there, you get what I'm saying? And I'm really happy to have
Absolutely.
asked you questions that surprised me when it comes to I just love that you said an exchange of safety. It's not just he's giving safety, but he's receiving that safety as well, but it might just be in a
Mhm,
different form. And these are all
mhm,
things that I am asking selfishly, right? I'm not asking because I hope my audience wants to know these things, or I'm not asking because I think it's going to make good content. I'm asking genuinely because I am somebody that's single that wants to be in a forever relationship and is trying to see, while everybody that I want to date wants to get married, I don't want to get married just to satisfy them. I want to have something that
mhm,
I look forward to. And
mhm,
I'm still struggling in seeing that, right? I'm still struggling in seeing I had a friend, my boy Rashad and his girlfriend, they were together, I wanna say, like I honestly think they were together for, like, 12 years, and then they got married,
mm,
and at that point, it's just
mm.
like like, why not? You know what I'm saying? And I know that's
Right.
not gonna be for
Exactly.
everybody, but I think it's the same okay, I wanna just say this as the last thing. The person that wants the least makes me wanna give them the most. Does that make sense? The person that's telling me, yo, I need my man to do this, and I want him to do this, and I want to do this, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
those are probably the only things I'm gonna do for you. But the person that
Mm.
goes, no, I'm gonna be able to, I just want him to focus on him and, do what he needs to do. And, I want him to want to support me whenever he can. And I can do the same thing for them. I'm gonna find ways to be supportive in your life that I wouldn't have done had you listed out what you wanted me to do. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so really being able
Absolutely.
to kind of like reach in and say, yo, to I don't know. I think there's a Bible verse in there somewhere that's like, but it's inverse. The Bible verse doesn't make sense when that's in my mind. It's like, to those that don't have, even less will be given, or something like that. Even the little they have will be taken away. So that's not the. Anyway, I might cut this last
No,
part out.
I think I know what you're saying. I think it's freely you have received, so freely give, or something like that. You talking about that one?
Something. Yes. There we go. There we go. And
Okay.
but it doesn't even talk about the desire to give, or the desire for me to want to give.
Oh, okay.
The less that my
Mm-hmm.
partner wants for me, the more that I want to give them. Well, my partner's just like,
Mm.
yo, I just want to sit here with you. I'm gonna be like, nah, fuck that. We gotta go buy you some jewelry. We gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's go get you some shoes
Mm-hmm.
or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at me like, yo, I want to go this and I want to go do that, and why don't you do this, or why haven't I gotten that, or why don't you hit me? It's just like, oh, this is coming from a single guy.
Nah,
So who knows,
it
man?
makes
Who knows?
sense. It makes sense. It makes a ton of
But
sense,
for
bro.
now, thank you, Emmanuel Williams,
My
Emmanuel
pleasure,
David
bro.
on Instagram.
Appreciate you, bro.
I really appreciate this. I couldn't have had this conversation with anybody else. And I just want to sing your praises. I want to give you flowers on as many episodes as possible, showing up the way that you've been, and really kind of trusting my process, and just giving me all this trust. I just really thank you for being a part of this, and I can't wait to see where we are a year from now, 6 months from now, 2 months from now. I'm just so proud to have you
Man,
here sharing this experience with me, man. I just want to say thank you again.
man, thank you, bro. You see, look at you, man. You practicing. You practicing for your.
For my speech.
You about to get a Webby Award pretty soon,
I'm
bro.
gonna
We about
be,
to take this.
I'm gonna be up there. Is he in the crowd? Is he? I don't see him, but I just
Here he
want to.
go. Here he goes. Oh, my
No,
dude,
you gotta come up
yo,
here with me. You gotta come up here with me. Come on. I hope so. I hope we have that problem one day, man. And
that's a fact.
I just want to dial this in. I want to get this really crisp. I want to get this really dialed in. And I lied. I still don't have my tagline like I said I did, like I said I would. But it's coming. It's coming. You know what I mean? Like, that which is delightful takes
No
a little bit
doubt,
of time.
man. And of course, once again, as always, all the flowers for being on the forefront of relationship podcasts and having constructive relationship conversations, which
Thank you,
is
bro.
much needed in the system because the system is full of confusion, bro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Red pill,
Definitely,
black pill, blue
definitely.
pill, none of that matters to me, yo. Like, how do we do it better?
Oh my God. Yes.
It's not their fault though,
Thank
man.
you.
It's not their
Bro, that's
fault.
your tagline. That's your tagline.
Oh shit.
That's
Okay.
it.
All right. It's recorded,
You
so I'm
just
gonna run
did
it
it.
back.
Check.
I'm gonna run it. EFFABL.co. That's the Instagram for the website. The website is the same, EFFABL.co. You'll see a couple of old blog posts. You'll see all my archives, and you'll see some of my podcasts that I've been posting, the non-video versions. Everything else, Small Chops Podcast on YouTube. And thank you for being a part of this experience. Please comment below what parts resonated with you. I'm going to have timestamps in the description. And yeah, just keep engaged, please. We are doing this on behalf of people
Absolutely.
who are
Absolutely.
genuinely interested in doing this thing we call relationships just a little bit better. And so with that, I say,
Can I plug the blog?
plug, bro, please. Oh yeah, yes, please. Oh my God, I'm about to do it right now. Right now.
EmmanuelDid.substack.com. Follow me. Blog coming soon. I'm putting together a multitude of posts. I'm taking after your lead, bro. I'm gonna stack the deck, and then when I first release the blog, I'm gonna have like 4 or 5 all ready to go. So there's no pressure to produce week to week. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Do we get it one
Yes,
time
sir.
for the people in the back?
EmmanuelDid.substack.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
So you download the app, or you go on, whatever, go on Substack online and just Emmanuel Did, you'll find me.
Yep. Thank you, brother. Love you much, man.
Appreciate you.
Real soon.
Much love, bro. Already. Yes, sir.